nothing. It's just, getting late. I scowled and glared at him. I'm not buying that. Please don't lie to me. Quinn nervously chewed on his lip. He continued to glance up to the rearview mirror. A few moments of awkward silence passed before he sighed and spoke. That dark-haired guy was Dion. He's an abusive ex-boyfriend I haven't seen in years, and it was really fucking hard to get away. I don't want to talk about it more than that. He can't know I'm here. Do you think he tracked you down? No, there's no way. It has to be an unlucky coincidence. Dion doesn't play with his food. If he knew I was here, he would have come straight for me. If I lay low for a while, he'll finish whatever business he's around for and leave. The distressed look on his face broke my heart. I reached over and squeezed his arm reassuringly. That's awful. I'm sorry you had to go through that, and sorry, maybe I shouldn't have pried. As long as you haven't hurt anyone, your past is none of my business. Quinn glanced at me. For a second, he looked worried and nervous, but he looked away so quickly that I wasn't sure if I imagined it. Quinn is still mystery, but like I've said before, I do have my theories, and I have a theory about one possible ending with him. If that theory is correct. I'm not going to say the theory because I don't want to be... Yeah, just... It might be perceived as insulting. And I don't know if this theory is coming from something that was hinted at or something, or it's just me, I don't know, taking a leap in my brain, but yeah. We didn't speak for the remainder of the drive, and when we arrived home, Quinn said he was tired and hid away in his room for the rest of the night. What am I gonna do? The next day, after a late night at work, I took a detour to the park to sort through the thoughts in my head. I shouldn't have exposed myself like that, but I couldn't return home until I figured things out. The park was always empty at night. Dion had no reason to come to such a place. There were a million better locations nearby for a dealer to work. I hadn't lied to Valkii, but I avoided telling the full story about my history with Dion. On top of that, her comment about hurting someone was lurking in my mind. If she knew everything about me, what happened in my childhood, and what happened in my teenage years, would she hate me? Would she leave me? She was such a sheltered, shy, and nervous girl that I feared learning about the brutal cold world would break her. But there was something in her past that she was keeping secret too. She was so kind and forgiving. Maybe her past made her stronger than I suspected. Maybe she would understand and forgive me. Or maybe she would flee. I hated how afraid I was to lose her. How did I become so clingy so fast? I thought I'd walled off my heart enough, but she'd seeped her way through the cracks like flash flood. I was already in love, but she was so hesitant and unsure. I knew keeping secrets wasn't a healthy way to build a stable relationship. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to tell her, how much to reveal, or where to even start. Quinn, can we talk? Go away, Sebastian. A vaguely familiar redhead stood beside the park bench. I tensed, ready to run, but Dion wasn't someone who sent people to do his dirty work. The dirty work was Dion's favorite part. Who are you? Sebastian, I've seen you at Cafe Luna. You're dating Valkii, right? Sort of, I guess. It's mostly casual right now. Glad to hear it, because you need to end it immediately. Excuse me? Valkii is very important to me, and you must already know you're not worthy of her. I stood up, suddenly furious, and glared at him. Excuse me? Who the fucking hell do you think? I know about your stepfather and Dion. My furious yelling instantly fell silent and terror gripped my chest. I suddenly remembered I'd briefly noticed this man at the club talking to Dion. Did you bring Dion here? He offers a variety of unique products with some pretty competitive prices, and my brother is a frequent customer with expensive tastes. Dion offers some good bulk discounts too. Does he know I'm here? Not yet. My heart froze and my blood ran cold. My body began trembling and my eyes filled with tears. It took literal years to escape Dion, and more years hiding until he gave up looking. I'd only gained freedom by mere luck. If it weren't for my little sister, Lily, I would have given up on life completely. Please don't tell him. I had never been more afraid. If Dion found me, I would be lucky to not be immediately killed just for my betrayal. If I lived, he would kidnap me, drug me, enslave me, and I would never be seen again. Lily would be alone. Valkii would never know what happened. I'd be put to work on the streets, never able to reach for anything better, and I wouldn't care because I'd be dragged out of my mind until I died. I'm sure we can work something else out. I don't have any interest in harming you, Quinn. What do you want? I already told you. You need to end your relationship with Valkii. Why? What does it matter to you? She is very important to me, and you are not good enough for her. You will break her heart when she finds out who you really are and all the horrible things you've done. Her family is full of nothing but criminals, and she ran to escape that life. Do you think she would love you when she knows everything you've done? And don't think for a moment you can just hide it from her. I will tell her if you refuse. How do you even know about my stepfather? My court records were sealed. I was a juvenile. Surely you know better than most. There is nothing money cannot buy. I angrily spat at his feet, but he didn't react. You think she'll love you when she finds out you're blackmailing me? He sighed heavily, leaning back against the bench. I don't want things to be like that, Quinn. You're smart enough to know that if you tell her I'm blackmailing you, then I'll tell her you're a murdering whore. Let's not hold a knife to each other's throats. We want the same thing, don't we? She deserves to be happy. Help me make that happen. Okay, so one of my theories, that theory, has just been confirmed, I think, that Quinn was a lady of the night, man of the night, whatever of the night. So yeah, that's a theory. So then that means one of the bad ending theories that I have in my brain could be true, and that's horrible. You deserve someone better than you, too. He laughed as if I told a hilarious joke and slapped his knee. There is no one better for Valkii than me. I'm her soulmate. Rest assured, I will dedicate my entire life to making her happy. I'll never hurt her, and all you have to do is step aside, Quinn, and let her be happy. Hey, welcome home. I was getting worried. It was past 9 in the evening when Quinn entered the apartment. He could barely look me in the eye as he stepped through the door. I made food and texted you, but you didn't respond. It's probably cold, but I can reheat it. Is everything okay? Quinn walked past me into the kitchen, grabbed a beer bottle from the fridge, and chugged half of it down in mere moments. He shut the fridge door and stared at the bottle before sighing. We should just be friends. I don't think dating is a good idea. My heart sank. Where did this come from? I grabbed onto the countertop to steady myself as my mind ran in circles. Why? What happened to change his mind? Did he hate our kiss? Did I do something wrong? We were having fun until... No, wait. Is this about Dion? Quinn, don't. Talk to me. This is me talking to you, Valkii. I was being selfish, and you're not ready for a relationship, and there was little else in the world that would spark my fury, like being told how to feel. Don't tell me what I'm ready for. That's not your decision to make. It's mine. Quinn was surprised by my loud outburst. After a moment, he took another swig of his drink. Sorry. I don't understand. I thought we were doing well. I like you, Quinn. His eyes squinted shut in pain as he rapidly shook his head. We can't. We don't fit together. Is this about Dion? Are you trying to protect me from him? Quinn's eyes snapped open and he glared at me with rage. Leave my past out of this. It has nothing to do with Dion. I don't believe you. Tell me why. You kissed me. It was a mistake. Liar. We stood there in silence, staring at each other, neither one of us willing to back down. I couldn't make sense of this. If it wasn't Dion, then what? Why would he kiss me and then turn his back on me? Until this moment, I hadn't realized how important Quinn was to me. We hadn't known each other long, but I knew with my entire heart that he was a good, kind, and respectful person. I knew he cared about me. Living here with him, away from my family, starting a new life, my lifelong dream was coming true, and he was now a critical piece of that. Quinn, I love someone else. His interruption froze me in place. I saw tears streaming down his face. In rage or frustration or some other emotion I couldn't understand, he threw the nearly empty bottle across the kitchen. It broke against the wall, glass shattering on impact. Most of the pieces fell straight into the kitchen sink, leaving only a smear of liquid against the tile. Quinn. I'm staying with them tonight. You need some time alone to accept reality. He's lying. He has to be lying. Quinn kept his eyes on the floor as he walked past me and out the apartment. The door slammed closed behind him. I stared at the door in shock with no clue what to do. Julian, you know Quinn pretty well, right? It was a slow day at the cafe and my head was still swimming. I barely slept. Quinn didn't come home last night and I was worried about him for many reasons. I don't know if I'd say well, but I know more than I want to know. Why? He giving you trouble? We had a fight, I guess. He left and didn't come back. A fight? Really? That's strange. Quinn never gets into fights. He doesn't. No, not even when he should. People say some awful shit about him and he always just rolls with it. The only time I've ever seen him annoyed is when people pried into his past. I wonder why. From what I've gathered, my guess is he's dealt with such awful bullshit in his past that nothing compares. I want to talk to him, but I don't know where to look, and he's not picking up his phone. There's no parties tonight. You could check the park. He goes there sometimes when he's stressed out. If you don't find him there, check that renovated club that just reopened. After nearly running into Dion, I doubted Quinn would go back to the club, so I decided to check the park after work. Sebastian, isn't it? You alright, sunshine? The strange voice snapped me out of my troubled thoughts, and I nearly gasped as I saw the red-headed man from the club standing in front of me. You! Who are you? I bit my lip, realizing I'd said those words far too loudly when a few customers glanced over at us. The stranger raised a curious brow and frowned. My name's Sebastian. What's wrong? I saw you at the club the other night. He smiled, which I was not expecting. I saw you too, beautiful. I'm sorry I never said hello. You and your friend were having so... How do you know Dion? His face blanked for a moment before his brows furrowed together in confusion. Who? Dion, the man I saw you talking to. Stringy black hair. He appeared confused as I described the stranger's body and clothes. He thought for a few long moments. I think I briefly spoke to a man like that in passing. He asked me about restaurants in the area, but I just moved here myself, so I didn't know what to recommend. Is he causing you trouble? Hope and fear deflated inside of me, and I sighed. I wasn't sure what I expected, that they were in cahoots, that he knew Quinn better than I did, or maybe he knew Dion well. I jumped to insane conclusions. No, I'm sorry, I'm being paranoid. He's bothering my roommate, and I thought maybe you knew something. No need to apologize. You have a kind heart for caring about your friend so much. I only wish I could help. Thanks. What would you like to order? Work ended later than I expected due to some employees calling in sick on a busy night. I ended up working a double shift. It was nearly 10 at night when I finally got to the park. I was relieved to see Quinn sitting on a bench, but I hesitated as I approached. On the bench beside him were 2 prescription medication bottles. I could recognize their orange color and white labels far away, though I had no idea what they contained. Beside those bottles was a small plastic bag with a white powdery substance. Quinn sat beside them, using a needle to inject some liquid into the crook of his arm, which was already bruised. Quinn? As I got closer, I called out to him, and his bloodshot eyes snapped to me and grew wide. My family's business only dealt with dealers, but I'd seen enough people drunk and high to recognize all the signs. Quinn stared at me in shock for many long moments, as if he wasn't certain I was real. I reached out to touch his shoulder, but when he saw me moving closer, he jumped up and turned angry. Go home. Leave me alone. Quinn, please talk to me. He shoved the drugs on the bench, his used needle and vial carelessly into his bag, and started walking away from me. Determined, I rushed after him and grabbed his forearm, yanking him backwards. I'm not letting you run away. I'm not letting you go. Talk to me. Quinn hesitated, and I saw tears forming in his eyes, but again they shifted quickly to rage. He yanked free of my grasp and pointed a finger in my face. Who the fuck do you think you are? Don't you get it? I don't like you. I was playing with you. It was fun to toy with you. But I'm bored now. I'll move out. You can have the apartment. Just stay away from me. I was frozen still, and he took that moment of stunned silence to walk away from me again, towards the exit of the park and the street. What is going on? This doesn't make any sense. This is important, right? Yeah. Yes. Chase after him. Again, we're going blind for the first go through. No, I refuse to accept this. He's lying to me. He's afraid of something or someone. I have to figure out what's going on. I can't lose Quinn like this. Oh. It's Victor. I ran full sprint to catch up with Quinn, bumping into a stranger in my rush. I don't know what voice to give him. Which way are you going? Quinn had already made it out of the park and was walking down the street towards the intersection. Traffic noise was loud enough that he wouldn't hear me approaching. The stoplights changed colour and Quinn hesitated at the corner. Cars flew past him, forcing him to wait for the crosswalk. That gave me enough time. Quinn. I skittered to a stop beside him, grabbing his arm again. My aim was slightly off, and instead of his bicep, my hand gripped around the crook of his bruised arm where he'd injected recently. Quinn yelped in a mix of pain and surprise while ripping his arm away. That caused me to fall towards him. In his drugged haze, he shoved me aside, yelling at me again to leave him alone. You don't need 2 agains in there. Again. My foot stumbled on the edge of the sidewalk, causing me to fall backwards into the road. The headlights of the oncoming car were blindingly bright. I didn't hear Quinn's scream over the sound of the car slamming into my body, crushing many bones on impact. Oh my god, I got a bad ending already? Oh. Go away, Victor. You're mean. The brakes of the car screeched as the driver tried to stop, which sent my body forward into the road. The car had been speeding, and despite the driver's best efforts, the wheels ran over me. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm already got a bad ending. Alright. We're putting this up. Alright. Alright. Let me just get to the guides. Alright. Quinn. It looks like Victor doesn't have any choices? Which is weird, so what, it's just a flat, no choice, or at least no important choice run through? Alright, so Quinn. What did I get? I got... Where do you want to go? To the club. Follow Quinn. Yes. A blinding light. Alright. Now we're gonna go back to the follow Quinn and say no. Okay. So we're gonna leave him alone. Yeah. You know what? I feel like I need to turn this up. Sorry if everything is being kind of quiet. But it's because so much is like... The music fluctuates so much. I watched in tears as Quinn vanished out of the park and onto the street. My body was trembling with coldness and confusion. The darkness of the park started to weigh down on me now that I was alone and without purpose, but I couldn't seem to force my legs to move. I could only stand there, trembling and crying. Darling, oh dear, what's wrong? The redhead from the cafe appeared out of nowhere and moved towards me, arms outstretched. I couldn't help myself from falling into them and sobbing. He held me snugly, without objection. Shh, it's okay, I'm here for you. I barely knew this man, but he was always kind and respectful. His big strong arms wrapped tightly around my body and held me against him. His clothes were soft and his body was warm. I clung to him desperately, unable to talk through my tears. Sebastian did not push me to speak, only held me tightly and stroked my hair. It's pretty dark out here, Angel. Can I take you to my apartment? As friends, of course. I feel like you need one of those right now. I barely heard his words, too busy in my own head, and too upset and hurt to argue, so I simply nodded. I didn't want to go back to my apartment alone, surrounded by things that reminded me of Quinn. I didn't care if anything bad happened to me. To my surprise, Sebastian scooped me up in his arms as if I were his bride and walked towards the other end of the park with a tender smile. I must have fallen asleep on the way to his apartment and slept through the night in my despair. I woke up in a strange bed early the next morning to the sounds and smells of food cooking. I was still dressed in my normal clothes, except my shoes were missing. I left the bedroom and joined Sebastian in the kitchen. My eyes wandered over the large open space. It was fairly bare yet expensive looking, but he mentioned before that he just moved in. I'm so sorry I fell asleep last night. Good morning, love. You don't need to apologize for anything. Sit down, have some breakfast. Sebastian had cooked up a beast of a meal, far more food than we could eat. He gave me tall glasses of juice and a large plate of various cut fruits, pancakes, waffles, French toast, bacon, eggs, blueberry muffins, and hash browns. My eyes bulged at the assortment. This is incredible. You didn't have to. I wanted to. I love to cook, and it's a delight to have you join me for breakfast. Breakfast? It would take me all day to eat half of this. He laughed as he collected a variety of food from the assortment, creating himself a plate similar to mine. Okay, maybe I went a little overboard. You'll just have to stay with me all day to finish it. My eyes widened as his casual words reminded me that today was a day, and with my busy schedule, I was probably late for something. My eyes darted around the kitchen to find the clock on the stove reading 8 in the morning. What day is it? It's Sunday, Angel. I sighed in relief and happily dug into my meal. The days of the week had been blurring together. I was already regretting committing to such a busy schedule. That's a relief. I have today off. So does that mean you'll stay with me today? I'd love to have your company. My mouth was already stuffed with food, so I had some time to think of a response as I chewed. I don't know what I was thinking last night. We barely know each other. Surely I've earned some benefit of the doubt, haven't I? If I had any negative intentions toward you, Sunshine, they would have been revealed last night. It was tough to admit, but he had a point. If you prefer, we could go out together, maybe to a movie? You seem like you need a break. I groaned without thinking. My body felt exhausted and my heart still ached. He was right. I needed a break. I needed to keep my mind off of Quinn and my problems. I think I'd rather stay in. Last night was a lot. What did you do after you put me to bed? Oh, me? Oh, well, once you were tucked in, I went out for groceries so I could make all this. I'd been meaning to do some shopping anyway, but I came back after that and slept on the couch. Look at that face, he's lying. I hope you slept okay. Sorry I took your bed. Oh, don't worry about me, dearest. I fall asleep on the couch all the time. We chatted for a while as we finished eating what we could of the army-sized servings. I offered to help put away leftovers, but Sebastian shooed me into the living room to relax while he cleaned up. I plopped down onto the couch and turned on the television with a sigh. Maybe I could find a movie we could watch already on. I flipped through the channels casually, but froze on a particular news station. Victim is believed to be one queer... I did it again. Okay. In my head, I keep Quinn and then the R-E on the end keeps merging together. It's so annoying. Quinn Deirdre. Again, don't know how to say that, but... the quit and the R is so annoying. A sanitation worker found the body in a dumpster earlier this morning. Officers report that the cause of death is repeated blunt force trauma to the head, the murder weapon. The television clicked off and my eyes snapped up to see Sebastian standing above me, remote in hand. That was Quinn. He died? What? Who could... How tragic. I'm so sorry, darling. Why do I not think you're sorry at all? Why do I think you had something to do with it? I have to go to the police. I was the last one who saw him alive. That's not necessary, sunshine. The police will take care of it. How about I run you a hot bath? What? Bath? Sebastian, he was my friend. I have to help the police. I stood and tried to push past him, but his arm wrapped around my waist and held me close. What's done is done, love. There's no bringing him back. You should be grateful after that heartless bastard hurt you so much. Grateful? I shoved him off and tried to move around him, but he stepped in my path again, refusing to let me pass. I looked up at him and was surprised to see anger burning in his eyes. What the hell, Sebastian? Let me go. You said you would stay with me. Let's not ruin our first date with frivolous drama. Quinn is dead. I shouted at him, anger bubbling up inside of me. I began to wonder if I was the crazy one after the way Quinn and Sebastian were behaving. Wasn't it normal to talk about the reason for ending a relationship? Wasn't it normal to report to the police for a murder investigation? Was this world a twisted wonderland of crazy? Why do you still care about him? Quinn hurt you. He wasn't worthy of your love. I should have never let him get close to you. There's so much about Quinn that you don't know. If he told you the truth, you would have never developed feelings for him. Quinn did nothing but lie to you, darling. So please, just let it go. Stay here with me and let me love you as you deserve. I've been waiting so long for you. Are you crazy? I'm crazy about you, Valkii. You deserve so much better than this miserable little life you've cobbled together. I felt my heart racing in fear as I stared up into his narrowed, burning eyes. How did he know any of this? Did you... Please no. Sebastian reached up and cupped my cheek, shushing me, but I had to ask the question I feared the most. I realized that look in his eyes was not solely anger. It was jealousy. Did you kill Quinn? We don't need to talk about Quinn anymore. Let me take care of you, sweetheart. I have a beautiful house in the country. No one will find us there, and we can live out our happily ever after. No mafia, no serving ungrateful shits in that cafe, and no struggling in school. Just you and me. Just us. All our attention focused entirely on each other. We'll be happy together. Doesn't it sound wonderful? Mafia? How could he know that? Why would he say that? Panic filled me and I pushed into him hard, just barely stumbling past him towards the front door with a cry. I wasn't able to make it far enough. He was behind me instantly, one arm wrapped around my stomach and another pressed over my mouth to keep me quiet. That hand held a pill, which was shoved into my mouth suddenly. He held my nose and covered my lips until I was forced to swallow the pill or pass out from a lack of oxygen. Don't worry, darling. You'll come around in time. I'm your soulmate. Life with me will be so wonderful. You'll forget all about Quinn and your miserable family. I struggled against him, but between my hyperventilating and the quick-acting pill, I found the world around me growing dark. No. This isn't right. I don't want this. My mind spun as darkness slowly encased me. Where had I gone wrong? She asks herself that a lot. Why did Quinn push me away? Why was Sebastian after me? Who was he? Where did he come from? What should I have done differently? How did things end up like this? Fiend. Okay. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. 2 bad endings already. I mean, they're all bad endings. 2 endings already. So yeah. We'll go from an earlier section this time. I'll see you then.